Welcome to Theme Weavers, your weekly wisdom for weaving yoga themes into your classes to inspire your students. I'm your host, Heidi Kasner. Let's get started. Welcome, Theme Weavers. Today we are going to look at how to deliver a Dharma talk and weave the theme of the story of Arjuna and the bow, which teaches us about focus, intention, and the power of alignment. If this is the first episode that you're listening to, please go back and check out season 1, episode 2 for details and background on the structure of how and why to weave themes throughout your yoga classes. If you choose to use today's teaching as your theme, then please find a way to turn my voice into yours. You don't want to sound like Heidi, sound like you. Make this theme authentic to you specifically. So thanks for tuning in. Let's dive into today's episode. Okay, yoga story time. Today, I want to share a story connected to Dhanurasana, which is bow pose, and the metaphor of the archer. A story that reminds us of focus, intention, and the power of aiming toward our highest purpose. The story begins, it starts with Arjuna, one of the greatest archers in the epic Mahabharata. You might know him from his major role in the Bhagavad Gita, if you've ever read that, especially in yoga teacher training. It's often a required book. So if you haven't, just a little bit of background for you. Arjuna is a Pandava warrior who fights his cousins over his kingdom. Arjuna's true parents are his mother Kunti and the warrior god Indra. Indra is a god associated with storms, thunder, lightning, and rain, and is also known as the god of war and the protector of the military. When Arjuna realizes that he has to fight his cousins on the battlefield, he turns to his charioteer, Krishna, for advice. And the entire Bhagavad Gita then recounts their lengthy dialogue, their discussion about dharma, action and renunciation, reincarnation, and enlightenment. It's not a very big book, but it covers a lot. Anyway, Arjuna was known for his skill and unwavering focus. And one such story that we're going to talk about today takes place when his teacher, Drona, wanted to test the dedication of his students. He placed a wooden bird in a tree and asked each student to aim their bow at his eye. The bird's eye, not the teacher's. Before they released their arrows, Drona asked each of them what they saw. One by one, each of the students described the scene. Some described the tree, the leaves, the bird, the sky, everything that they saw. But when Drona asked Arjuna the same question, Arjuna replied, "I see only the eye of the bird." Drona smiled, knowing what Arjuna's focus at this situation was completely unmatched. Nobody else had this level of focus. With a steady hand and clear intention, Arjuna released his arrow, hitting the target, the wooden birds, it's wooden, it's not real, hitting its eye perfectly. Okay, this story reminds us that just like the archer draws back the bow with precision and purpose, we too must focus our energy and align our efforts toward our goals. Bow pose itself embodies this metaphor. The curve of your body like the bow, the stretch of your arms like the string being pulled back, and the heart lifting as if aiming toward a target. In life, it's easy to feel scattered with your energy pulled in many directions. The story of Arjuna teaches us that focus and intention are the keys to hitting your target, whatever that might be. When we stretch ourselves too thin or lose sight of what's important, we miss the mark. But when we align our mind, body, and breath toward a clear purpose, we really get to discover our power. This is true both on and off of the mat. Whether you're working toward a personal goal, navigating a challenge, or simply trying to stay present in your daily life, focusing on what truly matters helps you move forward with clarity. Think about the distractions in your life. I have so many of them. The endless to-do lists, the constant notifications, the demands of others, even the sounds that are going on around us in the world. It's easy to lose sight of your purpose in the midst of it all. The archer's lesson is about choosing your target wisely and staying focused on it, even when there are competing demands for your attention, right? Everybody else saw everything around them, and Arjuna was able to really focus his attention on just the eye of the bird. So at the same time, the bow teaches us balance. If you pull the string too tightly, it might break. Too loosely, and it won't release the arrow. It'll just kind of fall to the ground. This is a reminder that effort and ease must work together to create momentum. You can't have more of one than the other, otherwise the balance is completely thrown off. So as we move through our practice today, let Dhanurasana, bow pose, guide you. Let it inspire you and be a metaphor. Feel the strength of your legs as they pull back like the bowstring, and the lift of your chest as you aim your heart forward. Imagine your breath as the arrow, carrying your energy toward a clear intention. All right, that would be the Dharma talk. But before I get to the next part, where I'd be able to help you bring the theme alive, I wanted to interrupt with a few brief announcements. So before we get started on that part, I wanted to thank each of you that have been leaving a 5-star review and leaving comments wherever you listen to your podcast. If you haven't left a review or comment, please do. And also please follow the show. Most of my listeners appear to be on Spotify. That's where I am, so I can see it best there. I can't really figure out how to see it on the other platforms. I've tried with Apple. They just can't get it together. So if you do it, that's great. I just won't see it. But it does make a difference for the algorithm to recommend the show to other people. And you can also find the show on all the social channels to keep up to date with some fun reels and posts that I share. I'm trying really hard to bring content to you at least once or twice a week if possible. I'm really grateful to each of you who listen, and the more you share and interact, the more energy and excitement that's sending my way. So thank you for that. If you are so inclined and enjoy the podcast, there is an option to set up a subscription to Theme Weavers for a small monthly fee. Thank you so much for those of you that are already subscribing. It really touches my heart. If you're a chromatic yoga teacher especially, and you consider subscribing to the podcast, as paid subscribers, you can track your listening hours as continuing education for chromatic yoga. So you can just drop me a line at themeweaverspodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions on that process. But it's on Spotify. It's pretty self-explanatory, and the link is in the show notes. And lastly, I do have 2 tangible offerings for you that I wanted to share. The first is Theme Weavers Academy, which is a quick practical course designed to help you craft impactful yoga classes with confidence and creativity. There are also bundle options where you can either bundle them with a course or do it on their own. There's one of 22 inspiration sheets and another of 5 pre-written modern day Dharma talks that are just ready for you to purchase as well. So that way you can get them and be able to plan your classes off of them or just have it already done for you. You can check out the link in the show notes to learn more about the course and the additional offerings. Plus, I've written a book. It's called Energize Your Life, a chakra workbook for personal transformation. The link's in the show notes, or you can visit HeidiKasnerYoga.com/chakra book for details. But check out the link below. It really goes along nicely with the chakra series that we recorded back in season 2 of Theme Weavers. All right. Thanks for the interruption. And now back to today's episode. So your Dharma talk is done. And now we get to the part of class where we can find a phrase to drop as breadcrumbs throughout the class at different points to help your students come back to this idea of the story of Arjuna. You follow the breadcrumbs, then you stay on course and weave your theme throughout the class. Some options that I personally like to use, and you'll have others, let me know what they are. I like to learn from you too. One is draw back the bow with focus and aim your heart forward. Another is feel your breath as the arrow, steady and intentional. Another is balance effort and ease, just like the archer's pull. Or how about, what is your target today? Aim with clarity. Or can you keep your attention focused on just one thing, even when you are being pulled by distraction? Or another one, can you keep your focus on just one thing? When the mind gets distracted by all the other things in your sight, come back to your eyes, focusing on just one thing. I really like to use this class, sure, if I'm teaching bow pose, but also I teach yoga outside when it gets nicer out. And sometimes, the community center where I teach knows that I teach outdoors. I've done it for at least since the pandemic, we've been outside. And some weeks they'll come around with the lawnmower or the leaf blower right while I'm teaching, or there's a little mini pickleball court next to the area just off to the right of the students. And so they'll be like, huh, huh, and you hear the pickleball going, right? So there's a lot of distractions. So this is a really nice theme to use when there's a lot of external distractions and you want the students to bring their focus back onto one thing, right? Just like Arjuna, everybody else saw everything that was happening all around them, but he was able to keep his focus on just the eye of the bird. So we can use that story as an analogy for how to help our students recognize, you could see everything. You could see the pickleballers, the leaf blower, you could hear the music coming from somebody's car, or, the bugs that are crawling onto your mat that you don't want there, or anything that could distract you. Or you could keep your focus on what I'm offering you today. which is just feeling your big toe on the mat. I made that up, whatever it is that you want them to pay attention to, right? So you could acknowledge the distractions and bring them back to the clarity of the focus. All right, so just that's my little soapbox on how I would use that and how I have used it. But now that we have our thematic 3-line phrase, or at least you have my ideas and hopefully came up with your own, let's have a chat about how we can bring all of this alive in the class. What additional things do you think we should hit on? Things like specific peak poses or pranayama, or really anything else related to the story of Arjuna and immense focus. So obviously Dhanurasana, bow pose, is one. You could also not do bow pose and instead do any of these archer style twists. If you're unfamiliar with them, I'll sort of talk you through how I do them. I love doing twists this way. It's really powerful for students. But let's say you're in like a crescent lunge, right leg forward, left leg back, all 10 toes face forward, back heel lifted. Arms are reaching up over your shoulder. Now, take your arms, reach them in front of you until they're parallel to the earth and palms face each other. Right leg is forward, yes? So keep the left arm reaching forward. Imagine that you're plucking the string of a bow with your right hand. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, start to bend into your right elbow, reach it back behind you, and turn your gaze toward the right elbow as your chest turns to the right, right? And then release like you're letting an arrow go and reach the arm forward. And we'll do a series of those in many different postures. Maybe it's a low lunge, then a crescent twist. Maybe it's in chair pose, right? There's all these options. You could do it in one-legged balance, like an Utthita Hasta Padangustasana version C, which is standing hand to big toe, but maybe you keep the leg straight or bent, I don't know, but you do the rotation in that version C. So you could layer that throughout the whole class. And then you're playing with archer style twists. So it fits into the theme as well. There's also some quotes that I like to use in a class about Arjuna and the bow here. So one is, an arrow can only be shot by pulling it backward. So when life is dragging you back with difficulties, it means it's going to launch you into something great. I don't know who said that. It says unknown, but I really like that quote. It's a nice one. If you're into mudras, hand gestures, you could do dhyana mudra. It's a gesture of focus where the hands rest in the lap with palms upward. The fingers are fully extended with the 4 fingers of each hand resting on one another, while the thumbs touch each other, pointing upwards. It's a nice one because it's about focus, just like in the story, the myth. Okay, so I gave you that quote. I have another quote, a little out of order here. This one's by Tony Robbins, where your attention goes, energy flows. I feel like I hear that a lot in yoga classes, maybe never actually quoted to Tony Robbins, but that's who said it. And it has to do with that. Can you keep your focus? Because that's where your energy is going to go. Or this one by Zig Ziglar, you cannot hit a target you cannot see. And then a pranayama you might use is Kapalabhati, which is the breath of fire to build focus and energy, because you need to stay focused with your energy if you're going to be able to keep that single point of focus like Arjuna. And a guided meditation, if you're into those, a visualization of yourself as the archer, drawing back the bowstring with each inhale and releasing the arrow with each exhale. Let your breath guide you toward clarity and purpose. So you guide them in with that, and then you sort of let that marinate and land within them. Okay, kind of keeping it brief for you here. So let's wrap up the class now that we talked about all of that. I'm trying really hard to keep these episodes digestible and shorter. So that way, if you're driving to class and you need inspiration, you can listen on your way there. I think sometimes we get a little bit longer in these episodes. So I'm trying real hard for you. Hopefully it's working. Let me know what you like better, a more longer formed, drawn out episode. If you like the interviews or if you like the style, just let me know. All right, here's what I would say as a reverse Dharma talk, the closing to class, either before or after Shavasana. As you prepare to leave your mat, take a moment to reflect on the story of Arjuna and the bow. Life will always pull you in different directions, but you have the power to choose your target and focus your energy toward it. Like the archer, align your body, breath, and intention to move forward with clarity and purpose. Ask yourself, what is my target today? How can I align my actions and energy toward it? Remember, just as the bow requires both effort and ease, so too does life. Trust your aim and let your breath carry you forward. Now, if you liked this yoga story time, find a way to bring the theme alive in your own voice and in your own practice and teaching. The story of Arjuna and the bow teaches us about focus, intention, and the power of alignment. May this myth inspire you to move through life with clarity and purpose, both on and off the mat. then please reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, email, in person, however you want to reach out to me, and let me know how it lands. I am here to support you, fellow yoga teacher, and your class preparation and delivery. So please let me know how I can be of the most support to you. Tune in next time for a new myth for inspiration for your classes. And don't forget to check out the course, Theme Weavers Academy, Crafting Impactful Classes. Click the link in the show notes to learn more and enroll. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week with a new myth and modern inspiration to bring to your practice and your teaching. See you next time.